I think commercial property occupiers across the whole spectrum of sectors, they want flexibility, so whether that's in the leasing structure, in configuration of space, or in just in how they use this space. They are very aware of the big mega trends, which I hate using that term, it's a hackneyed term, but they do want to be in urban town centres, they want the transport and the connectivity, and they just want to be present.
Commercial property occupiers are primarily looking for flexibility, certainty, a degree of quality in product, and an ability to flex space to their particular requirements.
I guess the obvious one, the commercial sector will be looking at as a whole will be Brexit. I think with that sort of continued uncertainty, there's potentially something there that unless some certainty is delivered, unfortunately, I think that does have an impact. But from as I've said earlier in my presentation, I think from an industrial and logistics perspective, at the moment we think that the internet trumps Brexit. From our point of view, it's not had any detrimental impact. So long may it continue in the industrial sector.
Well, from our perspective, we're all about how do we help high streets increase footfall and accelerate their evolution. I think all the figures point to the fact that offline is still a very important part of the high street mix, but it's changing. And what's changed is the customer. The customer is now on their phone, and that's what drives them to where they want to be and where they want to go. And what we know is that increasingly retailers they're not accelerating their use of that channel as fast as they should do. Digital is not about e-commerce, it's about getting people into store as well. And unless you embrace it, you won't feel the footfall.
The opportunity is that we're now starting to see public and private working better together than ever before. We're seeing the cities or regional cities really understanding that they have to collaborate across their different boroughs and create an investment proposition both for the private sector and for government to bank.
What makes this time different is the emphasis on change, technological change, social change, all kinds of things which aren't going to go away. It's not just about property cycles. So if you think about the way that offices are designed and people actually reformatting offices and let them in a different way, that's probably not going to go away. If you think about the fact that people can't afford to live into cities, in the centre of cities, but they need to be there because that's where the job opportunities are. There's a clear need for that kind of residential development. We talked about having an institutional rented sector before. What we mean there is developers building and financed by institutions or other investors, buildings that are to rent, not to sell. The UK culture has always been build it, sell it. The policy imperative, the social imperative is really to build and hold on to it. And let it on the long term for a number of reasons. It can be affordable. There's always been an issue in the UK, and it can be flexible. For younger people, maybe not so young people, who don't want to be in the same place for a long time. House purchase is an expensive business, so there's a need for that.
A real challenge in terms of actually supporting those smaller retailers on the high street. I think they've got lots of things on their mind. They've got minimum wage, they've got legislation, they've got Brexit, and just trying to educate them and bring them into the 21st century in terms of the journey that they need to make. We need to support them from all angles. That's central government at a regional level, at a local enterprise partnership level, and really give them a boost because they are the next generation of retailers.
I think government does need to step in and take an active role in high streets and the retail agenda. Retail is a very large employer in the UK, and it is it's UK's #1 pastime, and it's struggling. And it's about many things, but it can have a huge impact if retailers start to understand more about their customer and use digital channels effectively.
In terms of encouraging new people through to the business, I think we need to go out and educate the next generation. That's schools, that's universities, having vocational courses which really stress the importance of retail. Retail isn't dead as an industry per se, it's just that unfortunately everyone's thinking that it's too easy to buy on the internet, which it is, but we need to encourage people back into the town centres and into those shopping centres and give them the service that they can get on the internet on the high street.
I think actually the UK property industry is very aware of the diversity issues, whether that's by race or gender or the whole spectrum of society, and it's doing a huge amount. The RICS is one organisation that's really pushing through the diversity agenda, and across a lot of the agents' houses they're mindful now of having a 50-50 split in terms of diversity, but it's about brand and it's about marketing and getting your message out early doors in the education system, and there's been a huge step change in the last couple of years, so it's just building on that momentum now to really encourage people into what's a really interesting, diverse, exciting sector.